What's going on, guys? And I guess I should stop saying what's cracking because I saw some people make money for it. But what's cracking, because I don't give a shit. So today we're working on the wife's car, actually, because I've already removed the charcoal canister. What I'm doing right now is getting rid of some of the lines, and then I'm going to go ahead and removing the factory cruise control. And I had a couple people hit me up about it, so I will be selling that. It works, but I'm going to be going to a VVTi motor. So I never drive it on the highway anyways. It's one thing I do actually miss in that car when I go on long drives is having that, but until I go drive-by-wire, I really won't get it back unless you put the module back in. If you can tell, it's not exactly pretty. So if you don't know exactly what the cruise control module is, it's this. It actually has like a little power module here that actually has a separate wire that pulls the throttle. There's your throttle cable up there that goes up and over and down to your actual gas pedal inside. It uses a secondary cable that runs across here, and this is what actually uses the cable to pull it to use your cruise control. So say you're going 60, you turn on, it sets it on, and this pulls it back and forth. It's pretty neat. I had it on my Celica. My old Supra and my Celica, actually both of them broke. It's weird because this one still works. The one on that one was really finicky. It would like hit or miss and sometimes work. So I'm never sure why it did, but I didn't care because I removed it anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this today. Just gonna unplug it and show you what's underneath here too. And then I'm gonna show you which one of these lines you can remove. One of these lines actually goes back to the tank, but one of them actually just goes to the VSV system over here, which you can actually cap off. Or actually just leave open. I should say shouldn't cap off, but just leave open. But I'll show you that here in a second. Only a couple 10mm bolts that holds this on. And make sure you remember to put it on loosen and not tighten like me, because that'd be pretty stupid. I mean, who would do that? Derp. Idiot. Keep all your bolts. I believe there's, yep, thought so. Oh, of course, that one's a 12. Well, it would be, and I didn't grab one, motherfucker. Bitch. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is actually unplug this. Come on. See how long this takes me to get this off. Don't lose this bolt. I like these factory bolts. I always hold on to these. Let's see how long this takes me to get this unplugged. 12 hours later, just got it off. Now, what we gotta do is this. Okay, so now we've got it unbolted. It's two 10s and one 12, and you've got one plug here. And I'll show you what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna try and stash it away, but I'll show you that. But we're not gonna cut any of these plugs, and I'm gonna tell you why. Next you're gonna do is pull it out from in here. You can actually unbolt it from here too if you'd like, but I just pulled it out for now. Now up here, you're gonna need to loosen one of these two nuts here, so this can slide up and out. And then you're gonna have to pull this back. This takes two hands, and slide this out. See if I can get it out with one hand. Come on. Come on. See if I can do it. It's hard, but you just gotta slide this little anvil looking thing. It's so close. Come on. I think I have it. Come on. I got it with one hand. Shoot. All right, now that the anvil thing's out, just need to loosen that up and pull this out. Well, actually, shit, it was loose. Never mind, didn't even need a wrench. I got that off by hands, and that's it. So that is the entire unit and cable. That's all it is, guys. Pretty simple little system, but it works. But it clears up a lot of room over here too, especially running catch cans or just anything in general, especially when you go to wire tuck this. Makes life a lot easier, especially when I get rid of ABS here. I'll get rid of this module. I'll be getting rid of this module here, and then this will go away also. This is your factory igniter for the rotor and cap style setup, which we'll get rid of all this when we go to coil and plug with the VVTi motor, so this won't matter anymore. But it clears things up, so it makes it look a lot nicer. And now for the wire here, what I usually do with this, you guys can cut it off. What I usually do is, I usually just put tape over this and then pack it down inside of here. Now the only reason for that is I don't want to cut any wires and then regret it down the road. I did the same thing on that car because you never know. I like to think, if God forbid, if I ever sell this, what would the next owner want? There is some permanent things you're gonna do, period. It's gonna happen, like some of these things, but if you have one of these cars, you're gonna swap, you're gonna do something, especially if it's an NA car. So when it comes to charcoal stuff, almost everyone has that removed. So yeah, next up, let's remove these lines. I'll show which one to remove. All right, so if you guys are curious of which one of these you can fool fully remove, it's this one here, this top one here, this bottom one here. So this is actually the very top line. If you actually look at the back of your firewall, it goes along the very top, and it looks like a part of the brake lines, but it's not. What you can do is bend it, maneuver it. You can see I already cut it over there at the VSV and just try to pull it through. So I mean, I've got to really maneuver it here. I'm gonna have to bend it and have some fun here. And then this one, this goes the whole way back to the tank. And if you want to, you could try to remove all this. What I recommend is cutting it somewhere. And for anyone that says you get fuel smell in your garage, horseshit. I've had that off for 8 years and no smell. With 93, with 85, nothing, nada. And that was in a 1-car garage, 0 smell. So anyone that says that, tell them to kiss yo ass. It doesn't exist. It's all in their damn head. Now that that's handled, it's starting to get a little bit darker out now. I'm here in the garage. But next up, fluid. That's got to go. This doesn't get used anymore. I'm also going to be taking this off. Now, I'm not sure if I'll keep this or not either. Again, guys, the car's going to be going for full paint, so I'll be painting underneath the hood and all this. The only reason I want to remove this is these tend to flake over time, so this is old, right? Some people want them, so I'm going to take my good time if someone's interested in buying that also. Same with this. I'm going to make sure to disconnect this properly. I know some people want these. I just don't. I have no desire for it, and I would never use it. I'm going to properly remove all these lines too, or try to. Most of them are probably pretty, well, actually they're quite soft, which is shocking, to get all that off. So if anyone's interested in this hood liner too, let me know. And if you're interested in a fluid bottle, but I'll show you how to get this off. I've already got all the plastics. If you guys can see straight down the floor there. I've already got all the plastics off, so it shouldn't be that bad. But start up top here, there's one 10mm bolt, and then you got to go down underneath, and there's some more plastic we got to get to. All right, guys, see all that? That's the hoses I had to rip off. So let's go back over here. I didn't show taking off because I got sidetracked and got busy. My cousin was helping me. A lot went on. So we had to take the wheel off, jack the car up here, and what you're going to do first before you do anything is you want to take this panel off. There's a bunch of bolts, including this one here, that actually physically hold it on, which I remember the first time I did it on my Supra that I was like fighting it, trying to pull it off from underneath. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why won't this plastic tank come out from underneath? So what you have to do is take all these bolts out. So there's one physical bolt here, and the rest of these are just like little screws. They use bolt heads, 10mm bolt heads. Here. There's one that goes up right here, and there's some down there too. That actually hold that in. You got to take all that out, and then you'll get access to it all here. Now you can see I removed the tank there, and you can see the clip right there. There's a 3-wire clip that I put a zip tie on. I'm going to cut that little extra off, but that is for the tank itself. That's actually what powers the little actuator to send fluid up to then put fluid to your little squirters. But it frees up all this room, and you're going to need it if you're going to run intercooler piping. It makes your life a little bit easier, and working on the car too. And it gets rid of that ugly little thing there. Now, some people keep it, some people don't. I'll never use it again because this car will never see it. Most likely the windshield wipers will come off this too, especially once I coat the windshield. Those are going to be pointless, so why keep them? Then, once you take the tank off, this is all that's left. This is how big it is. I mean, I shouldn't say all that's left. It's a big mamba jamba. There's your little power actuator. There's the lines you can see it cut. I couldn't get them off, and I was like, ah, screw it, I'll just cut them. I'm not going to use it again. I'll be selling the tank. So I know some people out there like to keep these and use them. This works for all Supras. Doesn't matter. They're all the same. So if anyone's looking for one, let me know. Shoot me an offer. I'm not sure what they're worth, so just shoot me an offer and I'll send it over to you. I've got the top hat or cap for it too, and it will come with the actuator. Another thing, guys, I'm selling these 2 Powerhouse Racing alternators. I'm going a different route now. I know I just bought them, but I'm going a different route. I found this nice billet one. These are nice too, but I'm trying to go like uber fancy on my Supra because I'm like that. So these are for sale also. I'd like for the both of them, if I could get $400 for the both of them, that would be nice. So I can get them both out and gone. They're like $600 a piece, brand new. The one is brand new. This one here is actually brand new, never used. This one was used for a year. That doesn't mean they're bad by any shape or form, but that's when it was at least used for a year, for about 1,000 miles or so. So shoot me an offer, guys. I'd like to get $400 for the both. If you want one or the other, just $225 each then, just because, well, group deal, you get a better discount. Fuck yeah. I wonder if it bothers anybody. I only have one jack standard. That wheel's off the ground. It's been sitting like this for like a couple days too. Oh my God, it's bad for the car. Oh my God, this is gonna hurt it. Blah, blah, blah. This is me giving a fuck. I always do use this now though, the little puck. I'm not sure if I've shown you guys before. I used to use this on the MR2. Now, is this necessary for a Supra? No. So what it is, let me get this up on it. It pretty much saves your pinch welds. It's magnetic too, as you can see it was sticking to it. It's a little magnetic thing. and it has, you can see that little Durlin looking thing. It's like a piece of plastic in there that's actually bolted in two, and it spreads out the distribution of the weight on the pinch weld. Now with the Supra, if you own one, you know that pinch welds in these things don't crumble. Like, you can put that jack directly on it and it doesn't do shit to them. But this, if you see here on this car, the pinch welds are literally perfect. Like, they haven't been fucked up at all. Like, on my Supra, there's two spots where it got crunched somehow. They must have did something to it, beat on it with something, but the pinch welds, the paint, everything is still perfect. So I'm like, you know what? Well, let's keep these ones perfect. So I'm using this. So you just do that, jack it up, take the old jack stand, guys. It's gonna get loud, so sorry. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. And you let the old girl down. Let her down slowly, and yeah, that's it. I like using that, and I always jack it up this way. Just think it's easier. Boom. Now, don't do like me, and this thing is a strong magnet. I was looking for it one day, couldn't find it. It was still underneath the car. I drove it like, I forget where I drove to. I drove like an hour away, an hour back. So 2 hours hitting bumps and everything else, it lasted. Again, I got this off Amazon somewhere. Here's the name brand. Let me get that for you. Rocky Spring Automotive. I think there's a button. It doesn't matter which one, guys. They're all generic too, but you can see a little piece of like plastic Durlin, the little magnets in there. It's a pretty neat little piece. And this one's aluminum. They have plastic ones, but I recommend opting for the aluminum ones, nicer. And now to finish off this video, I'm gonna take Tony's car for a quick lap here. I need to make sure everything's okay. So I've got my laptop in the car here, and we're using that awesome auto extrude cup holder. Would you check that out? And it actually has a specific Red Bull holder in it, so it holds that nice and tight. I fucking love that. So let's go ahead and start this up. Well, before we do it, let's make sure the Infinity is all set up. So I'm gonna be taking data log there. I'm sorry, he has a 506. Shit, I opened the wrong one. Sorry, I've got everything hooked up right here. I'm gonna go take the car for a quick drive. I just wanna log some things, so I'm gonna go ahead and start logging right here. Start PC logging. You guys can hear the fans are on. We gotta fix that too, but I'm gonna go through this log now. I wanna get cold start. Hitting this cold start though, it should rev up a little bit more, I feel like, because it does struggle to hold idle there at first. Like 1100 or so, it's like not bad though. I'm gonna go through everything and make sure everything's copacetic. So I went through Tony's car there. Everything seems to be very good. There's a few things I noticed though with the car itself. Some things are banging and creaking on the passenger side, which I'm not sure about. It has some little weird quirks with it. Tip-in needs to be adjusted, but again, these are things that John Kerr will take care of when all gets said and done. I'm gonna go through the logs here shortly. Besides that, the car actually drives really well. Oh, another thing is because the wheels are so wide on this thing, because those are so wide, the power steering pump can't keep up. Like, literally, if you come to a stop, you have to use both hands and you're cranking as hard as you can to get this car to move or do anything. It's really bad, but I think it runs like a, this is an R-Triple-8 too. What is this? It is a 265 R-Triple-8 in the front, to give you guys perspective. So that's more like a 295 tire he's running in the front of this car. And these are 19-inch wheels, and look how tall the sidewall is on it, which is pretty big. Because I believe it's a 265, 35, 19. So yeah, it's a big wheel and tire. Like, he has a huge setup on this car. Believe it or not, it actually drives pretty decent. The HKS Hypermax coils, I'm sold on. Like, I need to get a set, and these are the older ones. I think these are the 3s, not even the 4 or 5s. So that's something I need to look into also. And lastly, his car is so much quieter than mine. That even has the HKS titanium on it, which is supposed to be very loud. Compared to my Powerhouse Racing, this thing is stupid quiet. Now, I used to think it was loud, and that was back when I had my HKS carbon on this. That exhaust setup is so freaking loud. Now, I like it, but it was like, holy cow, what a difference today. My wife is like, when I left, she's like, man, that car is so much quieter than yours. And I'm like, yeah, it's like night and day difference. And on that note, guys, I'm out. Next episode will be coming up here shortly. We'll probably be back on her car again here. I want to show you guys how to trim the rear fenders on these, so I'm going to do that here shortly. I want to get his car out because I'm going to start doing this whole section of the garage, doing body work. So I'm probably going to put like a tarp up, hang it from the ceiling the whole way through here, and make this like a dirty area on this side. Probably cover the walls, everything, so I don't get it. But I'm going to try and do like my own work over here, make this like a dirty area of the garage. But I need to make sure I get Tony's car out first. Just because I want to try and do a lot of body work if I'm going to do it. I'd like to get a motor and stuff too before I paint it, because I'd like to see what I need to move, make brake lines. Here's the problem. I put a thing up on Facebook saying like, hey, like the rat rod is super, leave it like this, and then like make the interior perfect, make the engine bay perfect, paint all that even, but leave the outside like rough. I got inspired by the guy, the Rat Rod Supra on Instagram, and that got shut down quick. Besides Toby Cook, everyone's like, that's fucking stupid, don't do it. So kind of lost that battle, but hey, I get it, no problem. So we're gonna have to paint the whole thing. But before we do it, I need to make sure everything's the way I want it to be, because you don't want to paint it, paint the engine bay, do all that, and like crap, I need to put this in there now. Oh, I scratched a brand new paint, or I did that. So I'd like to do as much work as I can and then paint it all. So I probably should get the motor and all that stuff in there first. Let me know your ideas, guys, down in the comments below. What should we do with the car here? I think personally we should do all that work first. So like get the motor in, get swapped, get all that done first and foremost. Make sure everything works, get the brake lines out, get it over, swap to like my car, make it stainless steel hard brake lines on it, do all that fun stuff, and then go from there. Let me know your thoughts, guys, down in the comments below. And thank you guys very much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.